Warning, this program is a true account of real events and contains unsettling material. Viewer discretion is advised.
Information further ties Jesse Matthew, the suspect in the Hannah Graham case, to the disappearance and death of Morgan Harrington.
October 17th, 2009. A young woman walks out of a concert arena. She never walks back in. 3 months later, her body is found in a field. September 13th, 2014. Another young woman disappears from the same town. Her body is discovered 5 weeks later. Same killer, same hunting ground, 5 years apart. How did no one stop him?
Welcome to the True Crime Room. Tonight, we dive into a chilling case so dark it will haunt your thoughts. Take a moment to subscribe, drop a like, and tell us where you're watching from. Now, the story begins. October 17th, 2009, Charlottesville, Virginia. A concert is about to start at the John Paul Jones Arena. Thousands of fans pack the venue to see Metallica. Among them is a 20-year-old college student with blonde hair and a bright smile. Her name is Morgan Dana Harrington. She's here with 3 friends. They're excited. It's supposed to be a perfect Saturday night. Around 8:30 p.m., Morgan leaves her seat to use the restroom. She walks outside the arena. She never comes back in. Security won't let her return. The policy is strict. Once you exit, you cannot re-enter. Morgan calls her friends from outside. She tells them she's locked out. They offer to leave with her. Morgan says no. She tells them to enjoy the show. She says she'll find her own way home. That's the last time anyone would hear from Morgan Harrington. Witnesses see her walking alone on the Copley Road Bridge. She's wearing a black Pantera t-shirt. Then she vanishes into the night. 5 years later, September 13th, 2014. Shortly after midnight on September 13th, 2014, Hannah Elizabeth Graham is walking home from a party. She's an 18-year-old student at the University of Virginia. It's after midnight in Charlottesville. She sends texts to friends. She seems fine. Then something changes. Hannah turns toward the downtown mall area instead of heading to her dorm. Security cameras capture everything. At 1:06 a.m., Hannah walks past a jewelry store. She's moving fast. At 1:08 a.m., a large man in white pants appears on camera. He's following her. At 1:20 a.m., cameras show them together. They enter a Tempo restaurant. 15 minutes later, they leave together. After that, Hannah Graham disappears. Her phone goes dead. Her friends cannot reach her. By morning, her parents know something is terribly wrong.
Morgan's last hours. The Metallica concert started at 8 p.m. on October 17th, 2009. Morgan and her 3 friends arrived excited and ready for a great night. The opening band started playing. The arena was packed. Everything seemed normal. Then, around 8:30 p.m., Morgan told her friends she needed to use the restroom. She got up from her seat. She walked out of the arena. Her friends stayed inside. They assumed she'd be right back. But Morgan never returned. Outside the arena, Morgan tried to get back in. Security stopped her. The John Paul Jones Arena had a strict no re-entry policy. Once you leave, you cannot come back. Morgan didn't have her ticket stub with her. Security would not budge. Morgan was locked out. She called her friends from outside. She explained the situation. Her friends immediately offered to leave the concert and go with her, but Morgan told them no. She insisted they stay and enjoy the show. She said she would find her own way home. That phone call was the last time her friends ever heard Morgan's voice. What happened next is pieced together from witness accounts. Multiple people saw Morgan walking on the Copley Road Bridge around 9 p.m. The bridge connected the arena to the rest of campus. Morgan stood out. She was wearing a distinctive black Pantera t-shirt. She had long blonde hair. Several witnesses remembered seeing her. Some said she looked distressed. Others said she appeared confused. Morgan's cell phone showed activity until approximately 9:30 p.m. Her last text was sent at 8:48 p.m. After that, her phone went silent. At 10 p.m., when the concert ended, Morgan's friends searched for her in the parking lots. They looked everywhere. They called her phone repeatedly. No answer. They waited by their car for over an hour. Morgan never showed up. By midnight, they knew something was wrong. They filed a missing person report. Morgan's parents received the call in the middle of the night. Dan and Gil Harrington immediately drove to Charlottesville. They arrived before dawn. They started searching right away. The next morning, Sunday, October 18th, someone made a discovery. Morgan's purse was found in the University Hall parking lot outside the arena. Inside the purse was Morgan's cell phone, her wallet was there, her student ID was there, but Morgan was gone. Days turned into weeks. Police interviewed hundreds of concert attendees. They reviewed security footage. They followed every possible lead. The community organized massive search parties. Volunteers covered hundreds of acres. They searched woods, fields, and abandoned buildings. There was no sign of Morgan Harrington. On November 11, 2009, nearly a month after Morgan disappeared, someone found her black Pantera t-shirt. It was discovered hanging on a bush near the arena. The shirt was only 15 feet from a main road. Why was it there? How did it get there? Police believed this was significant. The location suggested Morgan may have been attacked near the concert venue. But still, there was no body, no suspect, no answers. The case began to go cold.
The first discovery, January 26, 2010, 3 months after Morgan disappeared. A farmer in Anchorage Farm is checking his property. The farm is about 10 miles outside Charlottesville. It's a cold winter day. The farmer walks across a remote field. Then he sees something that makes him stop. Human remains. He immediately calls police. Investigators rush to the scene. The remains are badly decomposed. The body has been exposed to the elements for months. Identification will require DNA testing, but investigators have a terrible feeling they already know who this is. On February 2nd, 2010, the Harrington family receives the news. The remains have been positively identified through DNA. It's Morgan. Their daughter is dead. She was murdered. Her body had been lying in that field for 3 months. The discovery changes everything. This is now a homicide investigation. Forensic teams process the crime scene meticulously. They find Morgan's necklace near the remains. They collect clothing fibers. They find biological evidence. Most importantly, they collect DNA samples from the scene. The DNA is entered into national databases. Investigators hope for a match. What they find is shocking. The DNA from Morgan's crime scene matches DNA from another case, an unsolved sexual assault from 2005. A woman in Fairfax, Virginia, was violently attacked in her own home. A man broke in during the night and assaulted her brutally. The victim survived. Police collected DNA from that crime scene, but for 5 years, they had no suspect to match it to. Now investigators know something terrifying. The same man who killed Morgan Harrington violently assaulted another woman 4 years earlier. This was a serial offender. This was a predator who had been operating in Virginia for years. Police create a sketch based on the Fairfax victim's description. They release it to the public. They beg for information. But months pass, then years. The sketch generates no solid leads. The case grows cold again.
Another woman attacked. September 13th, 2014, 5 years after Morgan Harrington vanished. 18-year-old Hannah Graham, a student of the University of Virginia, was at a dinner party with friends near the University of Virginia campus. She's having a good time. Around 11 p.m., Hannah decides to head home. She says goodbye to her friends. She starts walking toward her dorm. Hannah sends text messages as she walks. She tells friends she's on her way back. Everything seems fine. But somewhere along the route, Hannah changes direction. Instead of heading to her dorm, she turns toward the downtown mall area. Why did she change course? Nobody knows. Hannah doesn't tell anyone about the change in plans. What happens next is captured on multiple security cameras. The footage would become crucial evidence. At 12:46 a.m., a camera catches Hannah walking on Preston Avenue. She's alone. She appears to be moving with purpose. At 1:06 a.m., she's seen on the downtown mall. She walks past McGrady's Irish Pub. She walks past a jewelry store. She's moving fast now. At 1:08 a.m., something chilling appears on camera. A large man wearing white pants and a dark shirt enters the frame. He's walking in the same direction as Hannah. He's following her. The man is keeping pace with her movements. At 1:20 a.m., cameras show the man has caught up to Hannah. They're walking together now. They appear to be talking. The footage shows them entering Tempo Restaurant, a bar on the downtown mall. They stay inside for about 15 minutes. Then they leave together. After 1:35 a.m., Hannah Graham is never seen on camera again. Her cell phone goes dead. Her social media goes silent. By morning, Hannah's friends are panicking. This isn't like Hannah. She always responds to messages. She always lets people know where she is. Hannah's parents, John and Sue Graham, receive the terrifying call. Their daughter is missing. They immediately fly from their home in England to Virginia. By the time they arrive, a massive search is already underway.
The search for Hannah Graham. The University of Virginia community mobilizes instantly. Students organize search parties. Volunteers cover every street, every alley, every wooded area near campus. Police review the security footage. They see Hannah with the unidentified man. They release the footage to the public. Within hours, someone recognizes him. The man in the white pants is Jesse Leroy Matthew Jr. He's 32 years old and lives in Charlottesville. He works as a patient technician at the University of Virginia Medical Center. He's lived in Charlottesville his entire life. On September 19, 2014, 6 days after Hannah disappeared, officers approach him. They ask him to come to the police station voluntarily. Matthew agrees. He shows up with his attorney. But before police can conduct a formal interview, Matthew does something shocking. He gets up and walks out. He leaves the police station. He gets in his car and drives away. Police have no legal grounds to stop him yet. They watch as Jesse Matthew flees. For 3 days, Matthew is on the run. Police issue a nationwide alert. The FBI joins the search. Matthew's face is plastered on news stations. On September 24, 2014, police spot Matthew on a beach in Galveston, Texas. He's arrested there on a reckless driving charge. Virginia authorities immediately travel to Texas to bring him back. On September 23rd, before he's even returned to Virginia, a grand jury indicts Matthew. He's charged with abduction with intent to defile and Hannah Graham's disappearance. While Matthew sits in jail, searchers continue looking for Hannah. Thousands of volunteers comb through hundreds of acres. They search Walnut Creek Park. They search wooded areas around Charlottesville. They search fields and abandoned properties. For 5 weeks, there's no sign of Hannah. Then, on October 18, 2014, a search team makes a devastating discovery. Human remains are found on abandoned property in Albemarle County. The location is about 12 miles from where Hannah was last seen. The remains are badly decomposed. DNA testing is required for identification. On October 24, 2014, the results come back. The remains are positively identified as Hannah Elizabeth Graham. She had been murdered. Her body had been left in those woods for 5 weeks. Hannah's family receives the news with unbearable grief, but at least now they know, and police have a suspect in custody.
The DNA bombshell. While building the murder case against Jesse Matthew, investigators follow standard procedure. They collect his DNA, they enter it into national databases. What comes back stuns everyone involved. Matthew's DNA matches evidence from an unsolved case, the 2005 Fairfax sexual assault, the same case that had been linked to Morgan Harrington's murder. Suddenly, everything clicks into place. Jesse Matthew attacked a woman in Fairfax in 2005. He killed Morgan Harrington in 2009. He killed Hannah Graham in 2014. One predator, 3 violent crimes spanning 9 years, 2 murders, 1 brutal assault, all connected by DNA. The revelation sends shockwaves through law enforcement. How did Jesse Matthew operate for nearly a decade without being caught? How did he kill 2 young women in the same town 5 years apart? Why didn't anyone stop him? Investigators immediately dig into Matthew's background. What they find is disturbing. The warning signs were there. People just didn't see them. Or worse, they saw them and did nothing.
Who was Jesse Matthew? Jesse Leroy Matthew Jr. was born on September 21, 1982. He grew up in Charlottesville. He attended local schools. He played football at Monticello High School. In 2000, Matthew graduated high school. He enrolled at Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. He played football there. He seemed to be building a future. Then, in 2002, something happened. A female student accused Matthew of sexual assault. The university conducted an internal investigation, but the victim chose not to press criminal charges. Matthew was allowed to leave Liberty University quietly. No police report was filed, no record was created. Matthew enrolled at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia. He continued playing football. But in 2003, another accusation surfaced. A second female student accused Matthew of sexual assault. Again, no criminal charges were filed. Matthew left Christopher Newport. He returned to Charlottesville. Back home, Matthew got a job driving a taxi. He had access to people at their most vulnerable. Late nights, drunk passengers, people who needed rides home. Then he got a job at the University of Virginia Medical Center. He worked as a patient technician. He had direct access to patients in hospital rooms. To everyone around him, Jesse Matthew seemed normal. Coworkers said he was polite. Friends said he was fun to be around. He went to parties, he had girlfriends. He lived a seemingly ordinary life in Charlottesville. But behind that friendly exterior was a monster.
The evidence mounts. While Jesse Matthew sat in jail on the abduction charge, prosecutors built their case. The evidence was overwhelming. Matthew's DNA was found at Morgan Harrington's crime scene. His DNA matched the 2005 Fairfax assault. Security footage showed him with Hannah Graham hours before she vanished. His cell phone records placed him in the area where Hannah's body was found. Forensic evidence recovered from Hannah's remains included fibers that matched Matthew's clothing. Witnesses testified they saw Matthew and Hannah together. Matthew's own behavior convicted him. When police wanted to question him, he ran. Innocent people don't flee to another state. In September 2015, Jesse Matthew was formally charged with first-degree murder in Morgan Harrington's death. He was also charged with abduction with intent to defile. The charges in Hannah Graham's murder were already pending. The Fairfax sexual assault charges were also filed. Matthew's defense attorneys knew they couldn't win at trial. The DNA evidence alone was conclusive. The security footage was damning. The circumstantial evidence was overwhelming. They approached prosecutors about a plea deal.
Justice in the courtroom. In March 2016, Jesse Matthew entered an Alford plea in both murder cases. This type of plea means the defendant doesn't admit guilt, but acknowledges the prosecution has enough evidence for conviction. Matthew pleaded guilty to first-degree murder in Morgan Harrington's case. He pleaded guilty to first-degree murder in Hannah Graham's case. He pleaded guilty to sexual assault and attempted murder in the 2005 Fairfax case. The plea deal spared the families from enduring lengthy trials. It meant they wouldn't have to hear every horrific detail in open court. But it also meant Matthew avoided the death penalty. Instead, he received 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Matthew would serve multiple life terms consecutively. He would spend the rest of his life behind bars.
At 33 years old, Jesse Matthew's life was over.
Aftermath. From tragedy comes change, and from loss comes action. Morgan Harrington and Hannah Graham's lives were stolen, but their legacy continues to protect and inspire others. Morgan's family established the educational wing at Virginia Tech, created scholarships in her name, and fought tirelessly for stronger campus safety and expanded DNA databases. Hannah's memory galvanized communities to stay vigilant, support victims, and demand accountability. Their names are no longer just those of victims. They are voices for justice, safety, and hope. The darkness that sought to destroy them could not extinguish the light they left behind. Morgan Dana Harrington and Hannah Elizabeth Graham, their lives were cut short, but their legacy will never die.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on every new case.